DJ wins and losses Friday. Here we go. You know what? The idea
Let's
is,
do it.
what does snowmobiling and sales success, I mean super sales success, have in common? What are the similarities, and how could we as professional sales reps drive into 2022 victorious? To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
What's up?
DJ, I heard you mimicking the intro in the background there.
I was like, hold on. You set me up already. I got to go with this one. Leave it to the Canadian to start tying sales into snowmobiling already. Come on, man.
Well, you know what? I woke up this morning and the great philosopher Ron Burgundy once said, on Fridays we work, and as I'm getting up this morning, I look outside and there's this beautiful blanket of white gold that hit the ground, and it's only about a half inch, but there's everything in my body to not start my snowmobile and at least go up and down the road once, which is horrible for the machine, but so great for me. And I'm out on a walk with the dog, and I'm thinking, because originally we had Greg that was going to come on, that was going to talk about driver recruiting and stuff. And when I found out Greg, that he wasn't coming.
Yeah, speaking of that, Greg, I hope everything goes well with that appointment. And we'll definitely have you on in the future. We definitely want to hear, obviously.
Definitely. And, and it's funny because I started thinking, okay, well, we gotta call an audible again.
Yeah, there's the sales audible.
Ryan says, laugh out loud, he died at that title. Yeah, buddy, for sure, man. Because so here's the thing, and I wanna kind of kick this off with a story, because I want to share with you where the title, because some of you might think, Dan Deegan, that's clickbait, man. You just got me all excited from a snowmobile to sales, and how does it match? So let me explain to you the story, because DJ and I were just roaring about this. So I'm going to take you back to March last 2021, right? This year. We're on our last snowmobile ride of the season. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We're up about 2.5 hours north of my house. And there's 4 of us. There's my son, myself, and my 2 buddies. And we're in a line. My buddy's leading. I'm second. My buddy's at third, and my son's last to play. My son likes playing cleanup because he watches where all the other sleds go, and then he's like, okay, I can just take the middle and do his jumps and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, we were like 2 peas in a pod on sleds. But anyways, I went over the handlebars probably a dozen times last year, just because I'm doing stuff I should never do.
You're trying to keep up with him. Don't keep up with him.
Yeah, no. It's like golf now. I don't even try and keep up with him anymore. But so here's the situation. We're riding, and all of a sudden, my lead buddy turns around at a stop sign, and there's nobody behind us. So typically in sledding, you keep an eye on the people behind you, but when riders are pretty experienced, you would typically stop at every stop sign to let the crew catch up, right? That's just, good ethics in sledding. So we stop, nobody there, no headlights, nothing. So of course it's like 11 o'clock at night. We're in the, in the middle of a what's called a rail line. So there's about 8 to 10 foot snowbanks on each side of this rail line. So anything can really happen. You could bury a sled. I mean, I've been out there and I've buried the entire nose of my sled, and 2 hours later of shoveling, we've dug it out. Like, no joke. So we whip around and we come back around, and my buddy's sled is nose down on the snowbank. So his sled came off the snowbank and he's nose down. His nose is literally pointing straight down. And we're talking a 700-pound machine that we're now trying to lift and move out. So I stopped and I said, what happened? Because I let off the throttle. So here's the connection to sales, my friends. We are going into a week from now is U.S. Thanksgiving. Then it's Christmas. It's holiday mode. It's holiday season. Less hours of daylight. There's all these variables of totally fractured supply chain. To
party, get-togethers.
Partying, oh my God, since I stopped drinking, I forgot all about the partying. But partying, huge, right? You think of people's mindsets. Now, I ask you, the professional sales rep, your mindset. And the question is, are you letting off the throttle come the end of the year? Because here's the thing. When I asked my son, what happened? He says, Dad, he was riding. He was all good. And as he came to the end, you could literally see him slow down almost to a stop. And what happened is he came off the edge of the snowbank and dropped 10 feet to the ground. Now, he went into a side ditch, which just happened to be full of snow. He went over the handlebars. But think about this for a second, just for a second. How much
Oh,
damage could he have caused to himself, to his snowmobile? Okay, so hurt for himself, long time recovery, and to his snowmobile financially. Okay, let's look at your sales. You take your foot off the gas now. You slow down. You go off a 10-foot cliff. You miss an opportunity. That is monetary and career changing. It really is. And some of you might say, Dan, come on, man.
look
It
at
might
this.
only
Look
be
at this.
one. Yeah, but it
Look
might
at this
only be
guy.
one
He's
account.
tying it
Whatever.
perfectly, though. He is tying it perfectly. I mean, guys,
Yeah.
this is exactly the scenario. You know, when I got into me being newer to logistics, I can give you kind of the view of what I seen coming in. I don't have 28 years of Dan, but here's what I did see and hear all of the stories in the beginning, and they're still fresh in my mind. I've done it. I'm guilty of it myself multiple times. You let off the gas, and that's when your pipeline starts to dry up. And what happens? It's like the perfect storm, kind of like this crash. You let off the gas, and now your biggest customer either tightens up, because that's usually we got things going, everything's going good, everything's going smooth. We let off that gas, and now our pipeline starts to slow up because we think everything's great. Now we need it, and it's not there. Now we got to build it back up. That's where I think we get into the lull a lot as salespeople, and that's why your analogy, I was like, oh man, that's a home run with what you're talking
Well, I
about.
mean,
I don't know how
you
you
got a couple
tied
different.
snowmobiling into this, but
Well, I mean, so think of it. Let's talk about exercise, right? How long does it take you to get in shape? Ages. And then you stop working out, which what feels like a week, and it's like it kills you. And I'll give you a perfect story of that. 3 years ago, I was in probably the best shape of my life. Okay, my wife and I were hitting the gym every morning, 5 a.m. We were killing it. I had to go to Calgary to open a warehouse for a customer. I instantly stopped. Okay, by the time I got home a week later, my hip had seized. I was almost 3 months before I can go to the gym. When I started back at the gym, it was as if that year had never happened. A
oh
year
yeah,
to get in the best shape of my life, 3 months to lose it. Like insane how this happens, and it happens in everything. And you know what, DJ? There's a level above just having a dry pipeline. There's a level above that goes. We condition ourselves when we make sales calls, when we do cold email campaigns, when we reach out. We condition ourselves. Every call we have, we get better because
yeah.
now again, caveat, overlining mark here. We'll,
Well,
we'll kind
that's
of, we'll,
if you're tracking though, and if you're keeping track, and
well,
you're really checking yourself. You're just saying you're getting better, but you're not showing and really keeping
there's
track of
also
what.
mojo, right? There's like a flow. There's an in the zone kind of thing that we
Yes,
as
yes, yes,
salespeople get
yes.
in.
Oh yeah. Well,
And when we stop selling, we actually become, and those of you that have happened, it's a fact, we become fearful. We actually get this like, well, I don't want like I know for
it,
me anyways, I shouldn't say everyone because maybe some people don't feel this, but here's
no, no.
kind of
I
my
think
ebb and flows,
I think
and
you're
I want to
right
hear
there.
about yours.
I think you're
So
absolutely right.
yeah. So okay. So you agree. So like my ebbs and flows were totally on line up where I build my business and I'd get to a point where like I was making more money than I ever made. And I was like, sweet, I'm gonna go golfing, I'm gonna go snowmobiling, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
the customers, you're going okay, and it could be 5, 6 months, hey, maybe some of you a year. And then all of a sudden, you lose a customer. And it's usually because you're not paying enough attention and somebody else has come in and started paying more attention. And then your financial situation or your business drops and you go,
Some
oh my God,
logistics
I
guy.
gotta, I gotta start hitting the phones. Now, of course, like you said a couple minutes ago, your pipeline is completely dried up, done, signed, to deliver. However, there's another level to it where now you pick up the phone to make a sales call and you're rusty. It's
Yeah.
like going to the gym for a year, benching 300 pounds, not going to the gym for 6 months and going back in and expecting to bench 300 pounds. You're going to rip the shit out of your chest. You're going to hurt your shoulders. You're going to kill yourself. And
Yeah,
you better have
because
a friggin'
you're
spot.
trying to get right back to where you were, and that's the problem. You try to force yourself back there instead of realize that you had to work your way up there
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah. Good
Absolutely.
morning, Gary. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning,
Gentlemen,
everybody.
how are we
Man, I
this
love
morning?
it.
And so yeah, so you're it's that letting off the gas, and and more, I'm speaking to more and more companies now to try and get their team into some of the sales programs. And one of the scariest things that I'm seeing, and it's truly scary, DJ, because I look at what we're going through right now as a 2018-19 kind of conversion. We talked about this on Wednesday with Dean, but I'm hearing more and more where, no, you know what, Dan, we're above where we wanted to be this year, so we don't need sales training. I'm 28 years in the industry. I do training every day. And to me,
We're,
it's
we're, we're
scary
talking
because,
we're talking right now about the perfect opportunity of why you and when you need to do training. When you hit that lull, you hit that, oh shit, what happened?
mhm,
You better get in a program. I mean, for me, at least what I do, I try to find something. Inception, I am in it, listening to it. Listen, guys, that'll get you going. But any kind of program, whether it's Inception, whether it's YouTube videos teaching you training, something. But you got to get back going, because that's anytime I've seen it enough sales trainings I've been a part of or with, and every time people come out hot all the time, but it's because it's
mhm,
back fresh, you're back motivated, you're back ready to do it. We all hit
mhm.
those lulls like he's talking about. But I'm sorry to cut off, man. You got
No,
you
no, no,
got
no, no, brother. Don't be sorry. Listen, today's wins and losses Friday. Oh my God, wins and losses
yeah,
Friday,
yeah.
DJ.
Oh
What the
man,
heck am
yeah,
I
you got to hit him
doing?
with that. All right, let's
Oh,
switch
hold on.
again.
We got a couple of comments coming in here, DJ. So hold
Oh,
on.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ryan says, it's like athletes. They don't stop as soon as they win the champion. Take some time to celebrate, but get back to training afterwards. You know what, Ryan? You're
Kobe
absolutely.
Bryant
So
was the
here's
best
the
at
thing is,
that.
you want
He
to
was
go
one of the best.
athletes? Yeah, I mean, listen. You want to go athletes? You look at, and I think it was Ryan that told me this. Like LeBron James spends close to $3 million a year on him to
That's
better
true.
him, whether it's mental coaching, Tony Robbins, physical train, like all of these things. There's no Olympic athlete. So here, there is no athlete at the highest level that does not have a coach of some shape or form to push them,
For
even if
everything,
it's just
though. For
accountability.
everything.
Everything. And
Life.
then Jeff says, just do it. Make those calls. My cruise control broke. I have no intent. Yeah. My cruise control broke and I have no intentions of getting it fixed. I love
Yeah.
that. I often say when I sell, it's like I'm on the old school movie with Keanu Reeves, a bus where the brake broke and
Yes,
you're going
indeed.
downhill in San Francisco. And I'm,
I
I'm
love
just
that
like
movie.
gearing it up because here's the thing. Like, I'm sure all of you have experienced this in some way, shape, or form, right? At some point in our career, we lulled. For sure. Guaranteed. Jeff, I know you even did it. Your cruise control might be broke now, but at some point in your career, everybody's kind of lulled, right? And when we lull, the, when we lull, the big issue or the big challenge is getting out of it. It seems like it's 10 times harder to get out of it than to just maintain it. And it's like anything. You want to get in shape? To get in shape, you might spend 6 to 8 to 10 months to get in shape, which is why most people give up because it's too long. But when you're in shape, to maintain it and to get to that next level, it's just tiny micro commitments that you get to the next level. So again, you're selling every day, all day. Your next micro commitment is how do I audible this part of my sales sequence? How do I audible this part? How do I audible this part without spending more time doing it, but getting better at the chunks you do, right? And that to
Absolutely.
me, again, if I look at my buddy that went off the snowdrift, 10-foot snowdrift, if he would have kept his thumb on the throttle, and this is the whole big back connection that we're making towards snowmobiling and selling, mainly because as Canadian, y'all, and I love it, but so if he was coming on the snowdrift and he would have hit the gas and kept his hand on the throttle, okay, the mechanisms of a snowmobile when you come off and you're airborne. If you hit the throttle, it's just like a dirt bike. The nose rises, and you take your hand off the throttle, the nose lowers, right? It's the same control for any of you that motocross out there. You on a dirt bike, as you come off the jump, if you want your nose to drop, you touch the brake, your nose drops. You hit the gas, your nose comes up, right? That it's the same scenario with sleds. So if he would have come off that snowdrift with full bore, like pinned, he could have come off, got his air, let go, and let off the throttle. And then as he
Mm,
landed, he pinned the throttle again. He wouldn't have nose dove. But because he let go of the throttle, your engine's in the front. So your front is like the 700 pounds or the 600 pounds of a sled, like only 50 pounds will equate to the rear suspension. The rest is engine.
The rest is
Right?
that front.
So of course, it's going to drop. So because he let off the gas, he plummeted 10 feet down and had a real chance of breaking his legs, breaking his arms, breaking a shoulder bone, like collarbone. Like
The snowmobile falling on him. I mean, yeah.
brother,
Right.
I went off a snowdrift 4 years ago now. Okay. It ruined my hockey career. It sound like I was going to the show. It ruined my Sunday morning skates with the boys. I call it my hockey career.
Yeah,
So here's the thing.
we were going to have to talk about this hockey career.
Yeah.
Hold on,
No, not even close, man. I'm one of those guys where the boards stop me because I go full bore. But anyway, so my son and I are riding, last ride of the season again. We're about 3.5 hours from home, and it's this morning where you're snow blind. So I don't know if you ever ski or snowboard, but or snowmobile or anything, but any kind of winter sport, there's a time when the pressure and the light almost creates like a flat surface, and you can't see the undulations and the dips and grooves in the snow, right? So we're cruising, and we're up north of Creemore from where I live. So we're about 3 hours north on sleds. And my son's riding, and I said, "Yeah, you know what?" I said, "I'm gonna come out of his snowdrift because he was kicking up snow. I'm gonna come out of his snow, and I'm gonna cruise this side of the snowdrift. Now, here's the trail, here's the drift, here's farm field. So smarter choice would have been this side. Now that I think about it, I came off the top. We measured at 16 and a half feet. I dropped straight down. And I dropped straight down because I wasn't on the throttle enough. I dropped straight down. I hit the nose, crushed the front A-arms of my skis. I bent the front A-arms back. I tore both rotator cuffs. 3 hours from home, DJ. I rode 3 hours from home with 2 torn rotator cuffs, crying pretty much the whole way because I let off the throttle. Because I didn't, when I ride, I am an all-in, balls-out rider.
Where's that rant button? I feel a rant coming. Where's that rant button?
Well, I'm about to, but you know, I'm that type, right? I'm that million mile an hour kind of guy. If I would have come off, no, like here's the reality. If I would have come off a 16-foot snowdrift, full bore, not realizing it was there, yes, there could have been way bigger issues. But at least I would have had the opportunity to say, okay, holy shit, this is where I am, jump. Like, you know, and then I could jump into another snowbank.
I'm glad you said that because I've never been snowboarding before, and all I'm getting from you is if I come snowboarding, just hold on to the gas and just keep going, and I'm going to be okay. But I don't think that works.
That's like any kind of extracurricular sport. Just more gas is always
more
the answer.
Gas.
More gas. So here we go. Did we do this? Yes, we did this. Make control. So Nigel, welcome, my friend. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Yes, the hand's improving very much. Got my stitches out yesterday. Snow today. White gold falling from the sky, brother. It is a golden day in my world. January, go find busy. Yeah, we're all out there. I use referrals this time of year, 100%. Ask 10 customers. I love this. Okay, so you know what? Let's dive into this. Because Nigel's got a point because he says, and it didn't show up on there, but suddenly you have 20 meetings to head into in the quietest time of year. Have a great week until you got to go. Nigel, sorry, I just got this a little late. I guess hopefully you might be still there. But you know what? Yeah, Nigel, now is the best time. And now is here's the thing. I think we said it 2 shows ago, or maybe 4 shows ago, right, DJ? When we were saying, like, now, if you haven't closed those major deals now, you're not closing them. But what if you were that unicorn, right? What if you took, okay, well, let's do this. What if we did something like this, right? Studies have shown 60% of the time, it works every time. I mean, we're on this Ron Burgundy kick. We're on this Anchorman kick today. What
60% of the time, it works every time, of course, right?
Exactly.
That's what 60% is.
But here's the thing. What if we were to sit down with all of our hot prospects, all of our customers, and say, you know what, Mr. Customer, this year's pretty much done. Let's face it. If you're $1 million behind schedule on sales, you're not making it. You know, if you have a container ship just landing in LA now, you're not getting it before the new year, right? Let's call a spade for the most part. If you're trying to get it in the stores before Christmas,
you have to be realistic. Be realistic.
100%. But here's the thing. So what kind of unicorn would you be, DJ, if we did exactly what pretty much Jeff, Ryan, Nigel are all saying. And hey, what does 2022 look like? Like this year, where do you see it ending? I mean, there's 6 weeks left. Not much is going to change unless you have a ton of stock that just came in and you have to blow it all out. But
Yeah.
where is 2022 headed? Like, what can I do? Even if you're not, and here's the caveat, even if you're not doing business with anyone, like if this is a prospect,
Mhm.
what can I do to make, like, what is your big goal for 2022? And you know what, Mr. Customer, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect, whatever, give me 3-4 weeks and let me put an ironclad plan together. And you come to them with a plan. Here's the starting point. Here's where we're going to be in 60 days. Here's where we're going to be in 90 days. Here's where we're going to be at 120. Here's where we're going to be at the end of Q1. Here's where we're going to be at the end of Q2. And you create an entire timeline for the next 3 weeks, and you do it for 5 or 6 customers, and you present it to them before Christmas. And now you're coming in, because here's the thing. In freight, in logistics, in all of this, there is a very few people that forward project. Very few. Everybody is day of. Everybody
Mhm.
comes in and says, how many
Mhm.
loads do I have to book today? There's very few that say, hey, what is next week's schedule? Some might say at midday today, hey, what's Monday's schedule? Because they want to get a day ahead. But how many of you, and go to your operations department, go to your salespeople, like go to your colleagues and say, hey, do you know what your customer is doing in Q2 2022? And I'm willing to bet, and get back to me, because if you prove me wrong, I'll give you an entire inception program worth $2,000. I'll give it to you.
Yes.
If you find more than 2 people in your office that even have that mindset. I don't care if you got 300 people in your office. I worked at a company that had 150 salespeople in the office. I asked that question. None had any
Well,
idea what the customers were doing the next year.
and I'm going to let you guys into a little secret too. I mean, we talk about, and what Dan talks about all the time is finding, and we talk about a lot, is finding the customers or the prospects that you align with. So you guys are on the same page, want the same things, same goals. Well, think about it. And again, now hopefully I don't make everybody start working over this holiday season, but this is the time that the customers who are, and the prospects who are worried about just rates, worried about the easy answers, worried about the easy solutions, they're taking these time off too. We know, and I know from calling during these kind of times, you're going to get a lot more no answers or nobody's there. But the people that are there probably have the same mindset as you and
But
are trying to
DJ, can
get
I ask you a
ahead.
question?
Yeah.
You said you're going to get more no's, but is that because you're trying to sell something, as opposed to saying, "Hey, how can I work out something for you for 6 weeks from now?
Well,
Enjoy your holidays. Have
yeah,
great
yeah.
turkey, mashed potatoes. Go and
No,
have
no,
that.
I'm saying like you're not even going to get a hold of anybody because they're,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
especially because right now, I mean, so doing the food, I mean, I do a lot of USDA, and the receivers are closed. It seems like most of Christmas and most of this time, they're just not open. Nobody's there. They're not available, and that's what I'm saying. Like those prospects, those customers, they're not going to be there anyways. So
Mm.
that's the no's. You're not even getting the no's. You're just not even getting anything.
So
But
I
the
want to
connections
address.
that you
Go ahead.
the connections that you do make, they're gonna be more of the like mind because they're working at the same time you are. Think about
I
it. Everybody
love
else
that. You've already
is
almost pre-qualified before you even qualified.
uh,
Ryan said something here, DJ, and I'm going to put it up again. I had a ghosted prospect reply when I used this strategy this week. It works. And so let me give you a little back end context to that. So Ryan's part of our Inception program. I believe it was last week, Friday. I shared this strategy in essence, because we do two days a week training, Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern inside. It's part of the Inception program for a full year. And
yep.
on Friday, it was forget about 2021. 2022 is where your focus should be. And there was like 7 weeks left of the year. And I said to every single student, I said, here's the thing, forget about 2021. And all, what do you mean? I'm like, listen, just forget about it. 2021 is done. If you haven't hit targets, if you haven't hit projects, you're done. However, if you again want to be that unicorn, reach out to every single prospect, reach out to every single customer, and offer to put a 2022 ironclad guaranteed plan in place. Ryan took me up on it. And now he's saying somebody that ghosted him all of a sudden replied to this strategy. And here's why. You're not selling. I want business now. Here's
Exactly.
the mental side. Here's the mindset of most. And hey, listen, some of you are going to find ones that aren't, but I'm sure most of you will agree, just like DJ just said, they're in holiday mode. Like when a customer brings you on as a logistics provider, here's the thing. I don't care how good you are. It's more work for them. That's the
Absolutely.
reality of it. And unless you understand that and truly say to yourself, okay, I believe it because it is. You ask any operations person, hey, when you bring somebody in and when you get a new person in operations, how much work is it? And they're going to tell you it's twice as much work for like 3 months, but then it's half the work because
Well,
there's
and it's
always this ramp up where you're so overwhelmed because now you're training this person plus and this is the reason why most people in operations, like in certain structures, will complain because I'm not getting the training because a lot of the times for the team lead or the person training, it's easier for them to do it because it takes less time than to explain it
yeah,
and watch you do it.
yeah,
Same thing in sales. When a customer brings you in at any time of year, there's more work for them. I don't care how many times you have a
absolutely.
conversation, what your onboarding process is or whatever. There is more work for your customer to bring you in than they have right now. And I ask you the question, if things were going okay, nothing majorly wrong, things are going okay, there's problems all over the entire supply chain world. Do you think a customer on a week before Thanksgiving, 4 weeks before Christmas, is going to stop and say, "Yeah, you know what? I can't wait to add more work to my plate. Let's bring DJ in." Right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I know some of you might say, "Damn, that's a pretty," but it's like think about it,
It,
right?
it's very true.
This
Look,
is
come on.
what exactly. Now, what
Well,
happens,
well,
right?
one,
They've
and
probably
it's a
done it. Their Thanksgiving is now filled with, "Geez, I wonder if DJ is going to do his job properly." Right? Like it just. Sorry, but I didn't
well,
mean to cut you off.
no, and it's a process, like you were saying. I mean, it is a process. It's a back end process, and and it's going to be even longer because some of those pieces might not be there. So now they're having to, oh well, so and so's off because this is their vacation time. So now we need so and so. Well, we're waiting, and don't focus on that. Plan for next year. Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Get ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
Get ahead of it.
Yeah. And Nigel says exactly. Logistics operates that way, and everyone goes with it. Why? Challenge this. Ask for a 5-year agreement to supply. 100%. You may not get it, but you might get a 3-year. Hey, Mr. Prospect, if
Yeah.
I give you an ironclad 2022 plan, if I back that plan up with a guarantee, if I tell you I can save you 300 grand and I don't save you, whatever I don't save you, I'll give back to you.
Yeah.
But
There
in
it
order
is.
to do that, you need to sign for 5 years. But every year, I will create a plan for you mid-November that will follow through to the next year. Now, Nigel's right. Logistics operates, and exactly, all of what Nigel's saying right here, we just talked about. Where we're saying, like, listen, it's this: what's happening today? What's happening tomorrow? Hey, how can I get ahead of Monday morning?
Yep.
Not what does January look like? Like January looks slow. Okay. How do I create a promotion or something to give my customer to help them build that energy up and maybe January is not slow, right? These are all, I love that, Nigel. Jeff comes back
Yeah.
and says, your prospect seek to understand, then be under. I love that. Then be understood. Create the plan, work
Yes.
the plan, and execute by ramping up and launching it. 100%. Like as a unicorn, you go to your customer in the next 2 weeks, you say this today. And here's the big cap. Here's the thing. All y'all that don't do it today probably won't do it. So let's call a spade a spade. Let's 8 Mile the shit out of this stuff because there's no use to it.
Drop it.
If
Drop it.
I gotta get that rant video because I'm about to go on a rant, DJ. Here's the thing: if you don't do it now, you won't do it. It's like anything. It's like everything. You don't do it now, you won't do it. Right? The people that take quick action. Here's the thing: you might realize, oh, this isn't working for my customers. Great. Now you know it doesn't work. Find something that does work. Now you can test something else. Right? It's just what it is. I launch probably 2 new products every month. Some of them
I'm,
bomb
I'm gonna give you a
hard.
good. I'm gonna give you a good story, and my wife
Oh,
might come on and give a thing to rant on this, but I can give you guys a great example. I mean, I've been driving around with one headlight out for a little bit now, she's falling in front of me. Our son had a presentation at school for like Thanksgiving songs. It was the cutest thing ever. But um and so she's ahead of me. She says, "Hey, your headlight's still out. You should get it." And I keep blowing it off, like you're saying. And then if I didn't do it right then, so I'm like, you know what? I just got to do it right now. So literally, the exit I see next, I just boom, and I did it. And that's what we have to do in this situation, guys. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. That was that 5 second. Again, I love her. I love her. The 5 second rule of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and decide. And you're getting those decisions all the time. And that was my point. And that's what Dan's telling you guys right now. Use this now, today. Don't take Friday as the lazy day and call it a day now. Use this. See if it works. Like Ryan is. Make it work.
Well, if you
You'll
look
be
at it,
surprised.
7 days ago, that person was ghosting.
Yeah.
Now Ryan's got meetings and he's getting things set up. 7 days. So you
That boy
send an
Ryan.
email, they get back to you within 36 to 48 hours. Everything can change. And I could tell you, as of Thursday last week, I started a brand new process, killing it. Everything's changed in less than a week. And it can't, and listen, and I don't know about anyone else. And DJ, love your take on it. Jeff, Nigel, Ryan,
Oh
all
man,
of you, Gary,
yeah.
all of you on. I
Thank
want
you,
your take on it as well. Very important. Does being creative give you energy? When you can sit down with a project for a customer and the customer says, okay, here's the goal, figure it out. What does that do to your drive? What does that do to your overall vitality? To me, it's everything. When I can be creative, I'm like a rock star in my own head. Like literally, I'm friggin' headbanging. I've got the guitar, the air guitar, and drums and everything, and I'm going nuts, right? Creativity is the fuel for every great achievement. And I fully believe that. And if you can sit down for the next, like, think of the joy, think of the vitality, think of the love you're going to have for your career. If you can sit down for the next 6 weeks and create programs and plans for customers that are going to, okay, A, help them achieve their goals, which B, locks them in for an entire year, which C, just like Nigel says, gives you the possibility of a 3 to 5 year deal. Like, and then all of a sudden executing that plan and then executing that plan and you hit your first mile marker and then you hit your second mile marker and then you hit your first Q1 goal and the customer's going, oh my God, you are awesome. Okay. And then what does that do to your next sales? Then your next sales, then your next sales, because DJ, I think it was you and I talking about this yesterday when we said, like you start a sales call and the sales call lands and then it gives you way more energy for the next sales call, then way more energy. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you've had like 10 awesome sales calls and you go home and you're like, oh my God, this is the
Oh yeah,
greatest
yeah.
career on the planet. And then the next day you have 4 shitty calls. You're like, I hate this career,
Oh
man.
yeah. That's
So
that's every day of the life of a salesperson, really.
yeah, yeah. So Ryan says it here. He says, "Man, I just want to crush it. I love being creative and setting time each day for it." Absolutely. And then Jeff comes back and Jeff says, "Keep this in mind. Right now, companies that just manage are deep into forecasting and creating their 2022 budget. If you
Absolutely.
understand this, this will open up your door.
Yep.
It's just about getting out of your own way and like thinking ahead of time. And I know I've said it numerous times, and if I'm beating a dead horse, I apologize. But if you go to companies like Tim Hortons, McDonald's, Coke, all these major brands, they had 2022 planned by August, September of 2021. Like they know when their promotional schedule is. They know when they're doing a push on this, on that. They know the new ads that are coming out. Like they're always so far ahead because they're tracking and making sure all of that's working, right?
Mhm.
Like take the next 6 weeks, or I mean 5 weeks pretty much now, but take the next 5 weeks and create the ultimate 2022 plan. Gear up your execution and be that one that in 12 months from now, your customer's going, thank you. You made the impossible possible. And you know what? For that, let me give you more. Ryan, come
I
back.
love it.
Ryan says, gotta hop
I
off,
love it.
but wins for the week. Won a government bid, worked on for a year now. New mindset in 22, losses none. I keep learning. Way to go, Ryan.
Yes, way to go,
Way to
Ryan.
go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I
Oh
mean,
man,
DJ,
good
where's your
job.
head at with that? Where's your head at with all that?
Yeah.
Because I know I've monopolated the conversation this morning, and I apologize. I got to get my rant Dan video going.
Oh no, you're good. No, when we called the sales audible before this, and you went to the direction of that, I knew exactly. And yeah, I mean, you're so right. But I think that's where we all in sales, especially any sales, you want to always have that pipeline. And so you should never really be taking off the gas and be kind of planning for the future and planning
Mm.
just in case. I mean, listen, life's. You can either play life as a game of chess or a game of checkers. And chess, you're always thinking of the next move. Like they have the next 12 moves figured out. In checkers, you're just kind of hopping around. But in
Mm.
chess, I mean, a real good chess player, man, they're 12,
Oh,
15
they
steps.
know
I mean,
they've won by
they,
the time you
yeah,
do the first move. They know they've won in
yeah,
13 moves or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, they have,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. It's
So, what are
insane.
your wins for the week, DJ? Talk to me about your wins,
What,
brother. Talk to me about your
well,
wins. What's the wins? What's the losses? Share, brother bear.
So clearly the personal win there was taking that 5 second rule yesterday and getting my headlights so I don't get a damn ticket or pulled over for only having one headlight. And again, it was it's not even, and we all make these excuses. And look, I'm giving you guys the excuse right here. You get so busy that you tend to push those things off because you think you're busy with all these other things when that
You
could
know what I've
turn into
found,
a bigger
DJ?
problem.
What's important to you at the time of gets done.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you had heard there's a blitz on Monday or Saturday, there's a
Yeah.
blitz and there's going to be a cop at every corner, and
Oh yeah.
those who have a headlight out are getting a ticket. It would all of a sudden become a priority. But
Right? Yeah.
because you have bigger things, bigger fish to fry, and I'm consistently saying this, like I've got so many bigger fish to fry
Oh
that is
God. Yeah.
irrelevant to me right now. But it's a lens, right? And I love the fact that you just said, you know what? If I don't, and good on you. If I don't do it now, it's not happening.
Oh yeah. I mean, I blew it off, and I knew. I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there. I'm like, if I
I
if I
think we all
if I
do
don't.
that.
I mean, literally, I was in my own head at that second. I'm like, okay, if I don't get off right now, and I'm getting closer and closer to. I mean, I'm literally giving you guys inside my head right now. Closer and closer. I'm like, I got it. She said this. It's like perfect timing. Hold on. There's the exit. Shit. I know there's. Okay. Yep. Get off. And I just. And that was it. That was it. And that's yeah. And that really though, and I know it's so minute, and so small. It's a headlight, but really, guys, you don't understand what it did to me though is kind of just that small little thing though shifted in my head. Okay, I'm focusing on some other things right now. Those might not be as important as even that headlight. Let me kind of reevaluate. And that's so today and this weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, what? Maybe let me refocus this. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just those little things. But yeah,
So
yeah,
let me share.
that was
This
a
is
huge
the
win for
win.
me. Oh
So
yeah.
for all of you that can see that, it's
Oh
called the
yeah.
modern offer set. And I drew this doodle, and something, it just kind of came to me. And it's funny because I go back in my head and like I'm like, have I seen that somewhere before? Like you're not quite sure. You're like, because it's so simple. But the modern offer set is right now your customer don't got it, right? And what are the 5 steps to help them get it? And to me, last Tuesday, I started thinking about this, and that's when I drew this. I said, oh. And then I put 5 steps in place. And from Thursday to today has been more productive, no more work, no more effort, more productive. And my next 5 weeks is pretty much scheduled out. And with 5 days worth of only focusing on this. So for me, the win is reevaluate. Like audibles for
Absolutely.
me, it confirmed it in my mind. Audibles are the way to go. Try it. If you don't try it, and the thing is, I
Well,
just tested this. I said I'm just going to test it Thursday, Friday last week, And the test was so successful Thursday, Friday. I said, okay. And then, of course, you know me, DJ, right? At this point, I'm like, okay, was it a fluke, or did
Yeah.
it? And then I start like really compounding it. So on Sunday, I was like, I was writing like a madman. Well, this finger was still the one finger, but I was like, da, 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 right? I'm writing like a madman, trying to better it and better it and better it. And then I did another test. And the second test I did, remember where we talked about sales audibles, it bombed. Like, it was so bad. It made the first one like Gigantor, kind of Hulk instead of, you know, Iron Man. And it was like, okay, so now now I do a third test, and I'm, you know, now I can use three
Yep.
fingers because my hand's getting better. So I do a third test. And then, so for me, I mean, this is exactly what I'm training on today at 2 p.m. for the team Inception team, because I'm going to actually break it down. You know, what is the new value in today's industry? Because
Yep.
the reality is the last 24, 36 months, heck, if you look at the last 3-4 years, you know,
Yeah.
2018 to
It's been
2022, so
insane.
3 full years. But 2018 to 2022, we've had a bigger roller coaster than, gosh, I mean, I don't even remember
Than
anything
the last.
remotely close
Yeah.
in the last
No.
28
Yeah.
years that I've been in the industry. And with it comes different reasons for purchasing. So the offer set, the offer that we had going into 2021 isn't going to be the offer in 2022. It
Not
just
changed.
won't. And we might not see it because we might go from like a 20% to an 18 to a 16% close. But what if we change the offer set and literally like doodle it out? And this is what I've been doing. I've literally been on the phone with people. I said, well, can I do a whiteboard for you? And they say, yeah. They say, so here's where you ain't got it. Here's you got it. This is what I want to complete for you. And it gives a visual. And I'm like, shit, that's exactly what I need. Perfect. Let's put a plan together. Right.
That's
And
right.
to me, that's the big win. To me, that's the big win is the never, and I got to be careful when I say this, because it's not about never being satisfied, but it's saying, okay, I'm fulfilled or I'm satisfied at the results, but how do I get to the next level? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily a, you know, Dan, oh, come on, you know, you're not happy with where you are. It's how do I get to that next level? And I think that consistent question that we have in our mind of how do we get ourselves to that next level creates that creativity, right? And you know, we've seen everyone's come
Absolutely.
back. You know, creativity's king. Creativity's king. Creativity. It is creativity. Here's the challenge.
Right.
Here's the creativity. You get creative. You can ask for these things that, you know, people that aren't creative and just kind of operate. You know, Nigel said it best. You know, go in with the challenge. Ask them for an agreement for 5 years. You know,
Yep.
like I don't see, especially in today's market, like, you know, like Jeffrey said, the logistics, they're forecasting now because shit, you got to
Well,
forecast because
they've
if
been
you
on
have
such a damn.
one
I mean,
glitch,
yeah. If you're honest with yourself, especially if you've been working with any customers at all, I mean, they've been on such a damn roller coaster of what is going on. Well, can they get product? Or can they not? How much is it going to cost this time? It's insane. So yeah,
mhm,
they have to plan, and they have to plan even more, and that's where we're coming to. Yeah, absolutely. The
mhm.
quotes that I have are perfect for the exactly planning. But
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. All right,
it's
brother.
all
Well,
about
take us out
yeah.
today on this beautiful Friday, white gold blanketed morning, where I'm like I could smell the two-stroke oil of the
He's
snowmobile. Like
ready
I
to
could
go.
smell it,
Stop
brother.
it.
I'm so in. Give us a quote that's going to drive us all and give us the juice to continue the
So,
day, brother.
so I got two. So I got one from a guy named Alan Lincoln, and it's planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now.
Oh, that's gold. Love that.
Right? Right?
Man, that
And then
so isn't. Did you find these before we called the audible or as we were calling the audible?
as we were calling the audible.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, dude, that is
Uh,
like so in line with what we were talking
right?
about.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But then I'm going biblical with this one, guys. Always plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark.
yes, sir. And you know what? He got word. He got sight into the future.
Yeah.
not that. Don't get me wrong here, everyone. Not that we are gods of any kind,
No,
but
no.
no, not even close. But if you've watched this show, if you've listened to this, if you're listening to this live on the 19th of November, right now it's 10:45 a.m. Eastern, or you're
Yep.
listening it to tomorrow, the next day, or 3 weeks before Christmas, whenever you're listening to it, you are getting foresight. Jeff said it. Nigel said it. Ryan said it. DJ said it. I said it. You have 4 or 5 people here, heavyweights in the industry, telling you this is what you need to do if you really want to be that unicorn in your customer's life. Be it. Take the advice and run with it now, regardless of where. Like, I don't care what you're doing right now. If you're driving, pull over, pull out your phone, type notes, figure out what it is and how you're going to say it and what you're going to offer and how you're going to execute, and make the calls, send the emails, and get those meetings booked, and figure out how you're going to change 2022 for your prospects and customers to help them not only meet but exceed their mandates goals, both
Exactly.
corporately, departmentally, and even personally. That's your unicorn status.
Absolutely.
You've been
Yes.
warned.
Love it.
All right.
Boom.
Boom. Everybody have a fantastic Friday.
Have a good weekend,
Take
everybody.
care.
Oh man, that was fun. Dan, you better not be on that snowmobile yet.
Yeah, no. I won't. Trust me, I was